Carlos, Michael Tauchman's here on a minor league deal. He's a guy you know well from his Yankee days. When healthy, he can play all three outfield positions, hits well to the opposite field. Is there a path for him for the major league team at this point?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a part of that competition that we're going to have in right field. You mentioned some of the teams that he's able to do. Really good defender, can play all three. He controls the zone really well. Some damage there too offensively. So yeah, I mean, he's another guy that is going to be in that competition there for that roster spot.
What did you guys sort of figure out about what happened with Sean Manaea and the injuries last year, and what's the plan for him this spring?
Yeah, I mean, he's a healthy player. You got to give him credit. He showed up, and you could see physically with the way he looks, right? Last year, that oblique injury was tricky for him, and then he had a setback, I believe, and he was just never himself. But the fact that he's here now, like I said, healthy, throwing live BP, that's a good sign. So it wasn't easy for him. It was hard. I don't think he ever got on a rhythm there last year, even when he was feeling good, whether it was mechanics or he was just off. But again, it's good to see him put in the work, and now he is, and he's a big part of our rotation.
Did he drop his arm slot?
No.
No?
I mean, he did it in 2024, the second half. We felt like he went too much. So we kind of trying to get him a little back to, I'm not going to say normal because he's always going to have that slot, right? But those are some of the things some of the adjustments maybe there that we're working on.
Just to clarify, though, it didn't have anything to do with the elbow last year?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, he was dealing with an oblique when, early on. But no, nothing to do with the elbow or anything like that.
Carlos, now that you've had a few days to watch Luis Robert here at camp, how would you describe the way the ball comes off his bat?
Man, I was telling somebody today. It's pretty incredible. Just you watch the sound of it. It's pretty special, right? And that's what, man, I keep telling myself and people here, like, if this guy stays healthy, I mean, we got a pretty good player, right? We've seen it. But again, that's our goal, right? We have to, and I know he's working really hard. But man, like, he's just very easy. And then you see it, I think it was 115, the ball that he hit on live BP. It's pretty impressive. Again, he's done it before. When he's healthy, the numbers are going to be there.
What has resonated with you about Carson during live batting practice or batting practice? Kind of a smaller frame, but he gets the ball pretty good.
Another guy that impacts the baseball to all fields. I think his ability to control the strike zone. But the one thing that I've seen the past few days here during live at bat is his ability to foul off tough pitches, especially when he gets behind in count. That for me is a really good sign that he's able to stay on the fight. And then he continues to be aggressive. Watching him today in batting practice on that group with Juan, you see, again, to all fields. I'm going to go back to what I said the other day about him. He just got to be himself and go out there and have fun.
With Benge, as we get into games here in the next couple of days, how much of what he does statistically in those Grapefruit League games, how much does that matter to you?
I think it's just more like the quality of the at-bats. Results, it could be chasing, and then you get a soft liner, especially here in spring training with some of the conditions that we play in. I think it's just more like how hard he's hitting the baseball. Is he controlling the strike zone? How he's going to bounce back after a tough game, There's a lot to look for, whether it's offensively, defensively, base running wise. That's another area that I'm curious to watch him. Not only base stealing, but just the base running, and how he carries himself. Once we start facing some competition here.
Carlos, it looked like Tong threw some good changeups. Did you see that, and how important is that pitch to his development?
Yeah, that's a pitch that, it was kind of like his bread and butter last year. He dominated the minor leagues with the fastball and the changeup. I think, you saw it right today. He threw some really good ones, but I'm encouraging about that cutter too. He's got that cutter now that he's working on. That's another weapon for him. As we all know that as a starter in this league, when you're facing big league hitters, not only one time, second time, and that third time, you're gonna need more than at least 3 quality pitches, and he's getting there now that we all know the fastball, the changeup, the cutter, and then the breaking ball. It just adds another weapon there.
We saw Tong and Alvarez challenge calls today. I'm just curious, with games approaching, what plans you guys have come up with in terms of maybe who's allowed to do that and who isn't?
Be aggressive, challenge as much as possible. We want to see who's good and who's not. Sometimes we might not see it with the top of the helmet. It might be a sign to the dugout. It's like, hey, I would like to check that one. But we want guys to be aggressive. We want to see who's good and who's not before we start putting guidelines and come up with a game plan.
With Tong, what did you want him to take away from his major league experience last year?
The game's not easy, and how I mean, for me, I think it was the second outing when he didn't make it out of the first inning, and just his ability to bounce back. He had a pretty good view of what it takes to be on a pennant race and how every pitch, the meaning of every pitch, every outing, your routine in between outings, how guys will adjust them. Big league hitters will make adjustments. I mean, there was a lot to learn that we see it as a positive.
Carlos, you guys were one of the most successful teams stealing bases last year in the major leagues. What's the challenge of trying to replicate that this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a completely different team. We got guys that are aggressive hitters. They put the ball in play, so maybe less chances for guys to get jumps and opportunity to steal. You got a guy like Bo. Bo's an aggressive. He's going to go there and he ain't taking pitches, and the ball's going to be put in play. So, I think it's just a different brand of baseball. I've been saying it. We'll take opportunities when they're there. We got speed. We got guys that can steal bases. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Carlos, what have you seen from Vientos so far this spring? Just his mentality and where he fits on the roster so far.
Yeah, I like where he's at physically, mentally. It wasn't easy for him last year. I think he learned that you had success in this league in 2024. Pretty good year. He pretty much carried us all the way to the playoff and in the playoff as well. And then last year, he was made adjustment. I think it goes back to the tone question where, like, you're going to have to make some adjustments here. He's a really good fastball hitter. Last year, he got a lot of fastball that he was just missing. He was off. But I like where he's at now mentally. If we get that version of 2024, man, like we got something special here.
Carlos, de cara a la temporada 2026, ¿qué sensación te ha dejado hasta ahora el entrenamiento y cuáles son los aspectos del equipo que más te han sorprendido positivamente en esta etapa de preparación con la nueva integración del grupo que te ha colocado la gerencia?
Sí, mira, contento de esta nueva oportunidad que tenemos, 2026, aquí en las primeras de cambio, en el sprint training. Muy satisfecho con lo que he visto en los primeros días, muchas caras nuevas, pero grandes peloteros también. Tú me preguntas de quién me ha llamado la atención. Yo pienso que es difícil de nombrar a solo uno, porque tenemos muchos, ¿no? Peloteros ya de jerarquía que han jugado pues a este nivel y han sido peloteros exitosos, y también pues esa camada de peloteros jóvenes, ¿no? Contento, de verdad que sí, y nada, tenemos un gran reto y un compromiso para todos nosotros.
What did you make of Senga's inning today?
Really good. I think the biggest thing for me, when you see 96, 97, that's a really good sign. I Thought he threw some really good sweepers, especially for strike one, backdoors against lefties. He's just working on all of his pitches. He's just trying to get the feel. First time out there, the feedback from the hitters is always important. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it comes down to health. We all know that. And man, it was just good to see him go out there with intensity and throwing the ball the way he did.
Carlos, just to go back to Sean Manaea, he had so much success with that lower arm, and why would he go? Why would he raise that? Why would he go into something different?
No, he's not. I think I probably misspoke. I think he was just getting way too far down, So he dropped down, but last year he kept on going lower, lower, and lower, and we're just trying to get him back to what made him success, So it's not like we're bringing him back up there. So I'm sorry if I misspoke there. Yeah, he was just going too far the other way. No, it's just like the mechanics, and attacking the strike zone, all of that.